Wizards of the Coast has just made the surprising announcement that they are going to be discontinuing the production of draft booster boxes in both the Korean and traditional Chinese languages. Now, this leads to a bigger question. Is this the beginning of the end of draft booster boxes?
Magic.
I am a wizard!
History.
I'm an old wizard!
The Magic Historian.
My bones hurt. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered to talk about a truly crazy situation. Now, before we dive into that, because I'm super proud of it, I just want to let you know there is an amazing Magic the Gathering lore video based on old school Magic the Gathering Brothers War lore. It's available over on my Magic Lore channel. I'm going to leave a link at the end of this video and down in the comment section for anybody who has not had the opportunity to see it yet. And check it out, it's totally worth it. Now that that is out of the way, let us turn to the crazy announcement that Wizards of the Coast made today. Probably the best thing to do is to literally read it out to you, and then we'll break down the questions and concerns that I have as a result. So, the announcement is up on Wizards of the Coast website, and the title is Korean and Chinese Traditional Product Lineup Changes, if you want to read it for yourself. So, it's not that long. I'm going to go through it here. It says, starting with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, set boosters will be made available in both Korean and Chinese traditional, replacing draft boosters. In regions that previously received draft boosters in these languages, English draft boosters may still be available. This change is part of a rebalancing of our product lineup aimed at addressing player needs and purchasing behaviors in regions served by Korean and Chinese traditional language boosters. Our goal is to provide better access to a broad range of cards while still providing limited play experiences for players who want them. Honestly, like, part of my brain wants to start breaking this down right away, but I'm just going to read through it and then we'll go back through and break it down. So, it says, set boosters, which contain cards from the list and exclusive commander-focused cards from each set, better enable players to build collections for a growing commander community. Draft play will still be supported in this region, and we will be providing local game stores with options for playing events on pre-release with local language boosters and or English draft boosters. Players who have previously played in events in these languages should check with their local stores once we get closer to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And then the final paragraph says, we understand that for many players who are not otherwise affected by this change, it might signal a shift in our approach to draft boosters globally. While shipping and production challenges over the past year certainly affected our ability to deliver an optimized product balance, draft boosters are and will remain an important part of the player experience. So that is the announcement in full. Now I want to go back over some of the points in this, all right? So basically, the first thing that I want to point out is in the first paragraph, it says, starting with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, set boosters will be made available in regions that previously received draft boosters in these languages. English draft boosters may still be available. Did I just say boosters? Anyways, so it's saying English draft boosters may still be available. So in this situation, it's we're not going to give you draft boosters in your language. Maybe you can get English boosters. And that actually is one of the big questions I have about how all this works. If Chinese individuals, people residing in China obviously, can only get their hands on English draft boosters, will this actually change the makeup of cards in regular Magic sets? If you're not aware, there are rules based on cultural sensitivities that require changes to Magic cards before they're actually sent out to different countries. So for example, there are countries like China is a prime example where you're not allowed to show full-on skeletons. And that's why all of the skeletons that end up in Chinese printed products have like flesh encasing their body and everything like that. They make them look more like ghouls or zombies, which are apparently okay, but skeletons are not. I'm not 100% sure of the underlying reasons for that, but it is genuinely a thing that financially affects Wizards of the Coast in terms of when they make a set for China, they have to take any skeletonized artwork and have it touched up and changed at additional cost for the Chinese market. So now the question becomes, if you can't have skeletonized cards in these markets, and these markets are going to be getting access to English draft boosters, does that mean going forward from this point, they won't be making any more Magic artwork that has skeletal art for the base draft sets and stuff like that? Like, I don't fully understand how that part is going to work, because if they make skeletal cards in the English draft sets, they couldn't sell those in places like China. So you have that scenario where you go, wait a minute, like, how do you even make this work? The whole, like, they may be available, it seems to me like they're just going, they're not really going to be available overall. Maybe there's certain parts of like these countries where they have like less rules in that regard, or who knows, you know what, maybe it's more of a like a superstitious out in like the backwoods parts of the country, those people believe that kind of stuff, and then if you get to the more urbanized area, more people are like, I'm not that superstitious. I'm just curious to know with this whole like English draft boosters may still be available. Now it's saying the change is part of a rebalancing of the product lineup aimed at addressing player needs and purchasing behaviors. Our goal is to provide better access to a broad range of cards. So you're not going to be selling draft boxes because you want to give people access to more cards? What? Do you know what I mean? Like, we want you to have more options, and as a result, we are reducing the options of products to sell you. And it's like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, I'm gonna fall for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so confusing to me about the whole, like, hey, set boosters, we're going to be putting set boosters in. And then you look at the draft part where it's like stores with their pre-release options will be given options with local language boosters and or English draft boosters. Local language boosters has to be set boosters. Now your pre-release event is going to be played with set boosters instead of draft boosters, right? So now all of a sudden, instead of 15 cards a pack, you're getting 12 cards a pack. And so across, what is it? What do you use for sealed? Use 6 packs, right? So you're losing 3 cards a pack across 6 packs. That's 15 cards. Like, how do they make up for that? Make you buy an extra set booster? Now you got to pay more. Have like overall, to me, this totally just seems like a, how do we force players into buying set boosters? Do you know what, like, let's not do the draft booster thing anymore because it's not making us enough money. Why don't we just start doing this in different parts of the world? I mean, the final paragraph is a really big tell to me. We understand that for many players who are not otherwise affected by this change, it might signal a shift in our approach to draft boosters globally. While shipping and production challenges over the past year certainly affected our ability to deliver an optimized product balance, draft boosters are and will remain an important part of the player experience. That, to me, like, let's be very clear. When Wizards of the Coast started their Arena push, when Arena was like new and Wizards had the sparkles in their eye, they thought Arena was going to be the biggest thing, right? They were just like, they will know your name, and they made big ads and like really pumped up Arena. Now, obviously, they're not singing the same tune anymore. But you know what they said back then? Do you know what they said back then? They said the tabletop magic is important. It will remain an important part of the Magic player experience. That's roughly the same thing that they said then. The same thing they also said with the whole, like, when they're, oh, we're reducing coverage on the Pro Tour. Oh, we're reducing Pro Tour prizes and everything. But it's like, but don't worry. They are and will remain an important part of the player experience. Now, I mean, I'm not sure if they can actually fully get rid of draft boosters. It would be a different world, right? I mean, the whole thing of set design is predicated on, well, they're optimized for draft. So we have all these like commons and uncommons specifically designed for draft. Now, if they are going to discontinue draft boosters, does that mean they're going to fundamentally alter the way Magic sets are designed? Or are they just going to go, no, you use set boosters for drafts now, and even though set boosters aren't set up in any way to optimize draft, our sets are still somehow built to optimize draft, so you still have to get all of this chaff. Like, the only way I'm going to be okay with draft boosters going away is if it just means overall we're getting more awesome Magic cards. And I don't think that's what's going to happen. Wizards of the Coast is accustomed to making most of our sets full of trash based on the fact that it's a draft set. Look at Unstable, for example. Instead of going for a super fun, crazy unexperience, they focused on trying to optimize it for draft. And ultimately, it made the set much lesser. So to me, I'm not 100% sure if this is like the tip of the spear when it comes to shunting out the draft boosters altogether, but I mean, we've seen over the course of like the last year or two that Wizards of the Coast has been pushing set boosters really hard for things like prize support, only setting them out instead of draft boxes a lot of the time, and they say it's production issues. But how much can we believe a company that has like regularly directly lied to us for its own benefit? Do you know what I mean? Like, Wizards of the Coast isn't always dishonest, but they do withhold a lot of information, and they are dishonest frequently enough that I tend to not give them the benefit of the doubt. So I do lean towards this more being a let's minimize draft boosters to the point where it is a very small part of our product line, because at this point, draft boosters are now officially the least profitable product in terms of the cost of creating it versus how much money they get for selling a box of it. They want you buying stuff like set boosters and stuff where they're like, hey, check it out, we reduced the amount of cards in pack by like 20%. They're making more bank on those. Anyhow, I'm interested in your thoughts, my friends. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Big thank you to all my patrons for supporting my channel. And on the screen, you will see the link to that glorious lore video. Thanks for coming by. See you next time.